In this video, we'll look at preparing to take the Algebra Proficiency Assessment in the MyMathLab MyLabs Plus portal. So once you've logged into MyLabs Plus, you'll see the Speed Algebra Proficiency Assessment course. You'll enter the course. And on the main page here, you'll see a Start Here landing page, which talks about the proficiency assessment and kind of how to get started and what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you're using a compatible browser and that you install the Pearson's Lockdown browser. So if you open this page, you should see check marks next to all of this. You'll have to check your version on Lockdown browser. You probably will not have it. In order to get it, you just download the Lockdown browser. Right, click the install file and you'll see a download and run this executable. Okay, I've already installed it, so I'm going to cancel out of here. I'll click. So once you've done your browser check and run the installer, then you want to come down here and complete the orientation test. Now I've already done the orientation test. The idea of the orientation test is simply to let you make sure you kind of know how to enter answers. There's some additional places where you can get some practice on orientation, on entering answers as well. So you're going to open the orientation test and show you what the Lockdown browser looks like. If you're, this tutorial on how to enter answers is also helpful. Right, this is all just sort of video information about how to enter answers. So I'm going to click Start the Test. The Lockdown browser is going to open, and this is what your Lockdown browser will look like when it's running in your environment. And once you answer all of the questions, you click Submit Test. I'm just going to submit my 0 and not worry about it, since I've already, you'll see a warning sign that says you're not in the Lockdown browser. And now I can see all of this, answers. I can look at my individual questions. Each of these are the questions in the orientation. If you open up question 2, you can actually see what question 2 was, your answer, and the correct answer. I should note that MyMathLab always shows you the right answer, and if you click on anything with the red X on it, it'll tell you your answer. All right. So now that I've completed the orientation, I'm going to do the practice assessment. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the practice assessment. I'm going to click Start Test, and we're going to jump around here. So the test is going to load, and I'm going to answer some of these questions. So I've submitted my practice test, and you can see that I got a score 25%. So I got some questions correct, not all of them correct. And you'll see the questions here, but you will not be able to access the questions. If you can go to results to see what to study next on your study plan, right? And let's go to the study plan now. So here's the study plan, and you'll notice that in places where I got something correct, I've got a little hat here. All right, which means I've mastered that learning objective in the study plan. And you can see I also mastered one down here, which is solving systems by linear equations. So you can now go to work on trying to review the items that you missed. Or you can also, if you want to redo the items that you got correctly, you can also practice those. So there's a whole host of practice problems here. I'm gonna, come back here. And I'm gonna click in, let's just say I want to start at the top here, and I'm gonna click into this, and I'll go in here. So I can work these practice problems. So if I open up this practice problem, you'll see just a regular questions like you show up in these. And for each one of these questions, there'll be a help me solve this and a view an example. Sometimes there'll actually be an example video there. There's also a section video So for each one of these little elements in the study plan, there's a video overview that you can watch. When you feel like you've gotten the hang of that or adequately reviewed it, you can take the quiz me, right? So I have to work at least one before I can take the quiz me. I'm not going to try to do that. Take the quiz me, and the quiz me's 5 questions, lets you kind of practice under test conditions. And I'll go back to my study plan. And so you should spend some time in the study plan, particularly reviewing the things you've met, the things that you didn't master on the practice test. I've tried to put a few things in there, so you should have, like, so here's a subheading. I got the simplifying involving radicals, but I didn't get the complex numbers, so I'm going to go to work on the complex numbers now. So there's a nice bit of review in here for you to look at. Once you really ought to try to get all of these points mastered. And if I click on show all, you can review anything you want in here. So this gives you a pretty good overview, right, of a lot of the topics that we're referring to when we talk about intermediate and advanced topics from algebra. So it's just a good review. Once you're ready to do that, I'm going to go back to the orientation test. You're now ready to take the Algebra Proficiency Assessment. Okay, and I'm not going to click into that. If you go back to start here, right, so take the practice test, go to the study plan, right, you're now ready to take, so you've mastered all the study plan elements, you're now ready to take Algebra Proficiency exam. You're going to use ProctorU for virtual proctoring. There's a $4.25 cost associated with that. And I put a link in here for you so that you can see what's required, system requirements for the to use the virtual proctoring provided by ProctorU. So you can test your equipment and see what you need. It's pretty low expectations about what you have. Web camera, Chrome is the preferred browser, which I think is a good browser. So when you're ready, you'll take that. It also uses the lockdown browser, but you'll also be taken into the proctoring U. That piece has not been connected yet. I will provide a separate video when that piece is connected. You'll immediately get your score on the proficiency assessment, 80 to 100, very high level proficiency on all of the types of topics we're looking for, between 60 and 80. You may want to do some additional review before the beginning of the semester. We offer at least one program at the University of Louisville called the Speed Calculus Preview Program. I've put a link in here for you. If your score is below 60, then then you have some proficiency with some, but not maybe many of those topics. You really need to do some review. Again, probably the Speed Calculus Preview Program is an outstanding review. And initially, prior to orientation, you're going to be enrolled in a calculus class that provides some opportunities for that review. And at orientation, you'll have an opportunity to meet one-on-one with an engineering academic counselor, and you can discuss some questions at that time.